Hey guys, so for this MC Commute we're doing a special one. We're actually in Kyoto, Japan, riding Suzuki's new 2020 Katana. Now, I apologize everyone, we're not going to follow the traditional MC Commute rules because we're on an international press intro and time won't allow us to do that. So we're going to ad-lib a little bit and do the best we can here. So 2020 Suzuki Katana, they're bringing this thing back from the dead, bringing it back to life. New bodywork, new riding position. The underpinnings of this bike are shared with the GSX S1000, so Suzuki's contemporary open class or leader class naked bike. And you know, back in the day when this thing came out in 1980 at the Cologne Motorcycle Show in Germany, it really raised a lot of eyebrows. It had a really cutting edge design by this Hans Muth. I'm probably getting his last name wrong, but he was a former BMW styling engineer that Suzuki employed to make the design of this bike. And Suzuki did really well with it. They sold tons and tons of these bikes in the early 80s. They went away for a few years, but Suzuki's looking to spark their motorcycle segment with the reintroduction of this machine. So that's why they've invited us here to Japan. So we have journalists and members of the motorcycle media from all over the world. And we're riding this private Japanese toll road. It's basically like a toll road which Suzuki shut down, so no traffic can come in or out of it besides us. And we're riding up and down it. It's not particularly long. It's probably only a couple kilometers long. But it's a good mix of corners. You know, it's mostly slow speed stuff. We're in first and second gear predominantly. You could probably ride first gear this whole place if you wanted to. But that's why we're here. So we just did a quick lap. Now we're going to do another lap. They're talking to Suzuki HQ and control, making sure that the road surface is safe for us. That's our Suzuki factory ride leader right there. I forget his name. I'm so bad with Japanese people's names. But we're about to go for a ride on this 2020 Katana. Styling of this motorcycle is very iconic. It's got an upright handlebar, monochrome instrument panel just like the GSX-R 1000. The tachometer, how it wraps around like it does, that's how the tachometer was on the original Katana from back in the 80s, except instead of being digital it was analog. Had this wraparound tachometer and then a wraparound speedometer. So, you know, Suzuki's really keen on heritage, legacy, and history. They always have just a big engineering design principle of sticking to the script, and that's what this Katana does. Like, look at the nice little styling attributes here. That Katana badging, the Katana badging here on the side right here. It's all really neat stuff. All right, 60 seconds. Let's see if he wants to race. No racing. No racing today? No racing?
I'm racing.
Racing?
So today, safety first.
Safety first. Yeah, I love it. Safety first, guys. No racing. As much as we all want to race, we're not racing. So yeah, Suzuki's really big on sticking to the script and keeping that classic character of their bikes and in everything that they make. Seating position of this bike, it's very thin, very narrow for a 1,000 seat inline-four. Handlebars got a nice bend to it, not too relaxed, not too sporty. All right, here we go, guys. Again, we can't go as fast as we want because we're limited by our Japanese tour guide speed limiter here, right here. But we'll be able to give you enough of an impression of what this bike's like to ride. And hopping on it, like the first thing I noticed is just how nimble it is. It's very well balanced. It doesn't feel quite as heavy as a 1000cc naked bike should. It's very easy to put where you want, has nice steering manners. Open up that throttle and that 2005 spec GSXR 1000 engine, it's got some balls to it. It's got some torque, it jumps off the line real well. You know, compared to a modern GSXR engine, this thing has a little bit more stroke, more piston stroke. And more piston stroke just means more torque. And that's what you want in a street bike. You want a bike with a lot of torque that just jumps off turns, jumps away from stoplights. A little bit of engine vibration, but not too much. This bike's a little bit more simplistic in terms of electronics. Doesn't have a quick shifter. Traction control is a little bit more rudimentary. It's a wheel speed equipped system, no IMU, none of that stuff. We do have ABS. It's always on, you can't turn it off. But it's kind of nice to have ABS on this damp, chilly day. Getting a little bit of rain right now too. Might be wondering why we're riding on the left side of the road. Well, like I said, we're in Japan. And that's how Japanese people do it. Suspension's got good balance too. This bike doesn't pitch ridiculously when you get on the brakes or get on the throttle. Real well balanced. This road is definitely fairly smooth, but there are some bumps in it, and the suspension seems to be absorbing those bumps and taking away some of the roughness of the road very well. I remember from my time on this Suzuki GSXR 1000S standard that you know, I never really thought that thing had the best ride quality. The suspension settings weren't my favorite, but this thing feels like its suspension setup's a little bit more forgiving, even though the components are the same. Spring rate and valving is custom, and they've had some years to refine that setting, so I'm sure that they're gonna have a little bit superior dynamic in it now. This bike comes equipped with Dunlop's new Roadsport 2-tire, part of the Sport Max family of tires, designed to have a little bit more grip in chilly weather. Dunlop actually categorizes it as an urban sports tire, so it's a sporty tire, but made to work in urban environments where it's a little bit cooler, a little bit wet, just a little bit more of a all-around dual-purpose sport tire rather than a crazy high-performance Sport Max Q3 Plus or Q4, you know, ripping at the racetrack kind of tire. What do you guys think of the sound of this engine? Sounds pretty good, right? Suzuki's got a big, humongous acoustic chamber where they roll their motorcycles in and test for sound and dial in the harmonics of the engine and the exhaust. And sometimes Suzuki gets knocked for having bikes that are a little bit too bland. These things have a real robust engine character. Makes riding fun. Makes you want to twist the throttle harder and harder. Triple disc brakes have ABS, which is a nice feature. You know, Suzuki sport bike brakes are always a little bit weak compared to the competition, but so far so good today. But to be fair, we're not really wailing. I do like how this bike has a what appears to be a pretty heavy duty radial mount master cylinder. So that pushes a good amount of fluid. Whoa, he's taking off. Finally, we're getting the pace picked up a little bit. I like this. We're actually in second gear too, thank God. I'm 6 foot tall and the riding position seems fairly nice. The rear sets aren't too aggressive or tight. I have good room for my legs. The seat's nice and cushy. There's a lot of room for me to slide back in it or forward. Doesn't feel like a particularly huge motorcycle. It's fairly narrow, not too long. Really like the way it handles, how effortlessly it steers. It just goes where you want. Styling of this thing too, it, you know, if you look at it just right, it does look like a neat bike. There's some things I don't like about it, like that humongous tail light. But I do like how flat the tail is. Even though it's wide, it's super flat looking. Looks cool. And of course the iconic front end of the bike, it looks just so Tron-y, so futuristic. Futuristically retro. It's the Time Cop 1983 album. We don't know the price of this bike yet. Suzuki hasn't announced it. Expect it to be around 12 grand. I think for 12 grand, I think that'd be a pretty fair price. Yeah! Finally got on it a little bit. Love the sound of the rev limiter. So it'll be interesting to see what the price of this thing is. Suzuki always positions its motorcycles as value-conscious machines. They're usually not the latest and greatest in terms of hardware or technology, but they always have good, adequate performance at a real good price. And with bikes creeping up, you know, 15, 16, 17, 20 grand, it'd be nice to not have to spend that big dough to get a brand new motorcycle. All of Suzuki's machines come with a 1-year warranty in the United States, so they stand behind you if something goes bad. Well, here we are, guys. That was a quick little spin on the 2020 Suzuki Katana. We're back at home base. We're going to take another break before we go out again. We have 2 more sessions left. Thanks for watching, everybody. Sorry we had to ad-lib today's MC Commute and modify it a little bit. When you're a guest of a company, you can't just do what you want. You got to play by their rules. So thanks for being patient, guys. Make sure to subscribe to our channel on YouTube, Motorcyclist Mag. Leave us a comment. And tune in for the written review on motorcyclistonline.com. That's where we create our written content for bike tests and other motorcycle related things. So cruise on over there. And thanks for watching, guys. We'll see you next time.
Take a break.
and